And so one big question lies into the students' mind these days are if they are applying for a job which is for fresher, what should they mention in the experience section if they have done nothing till now?
Every fresher should spend time reading books and never to undervalue, what books can do in interviews.
तो आफ्टर डूइंग सो मच एफर्ट, जिस दिन आपको पता चलता था कि आज मेरा सिलेक्शन फिर से नहीं हुआ, तो उस टाइम पे हाउ वुड यू होल्ड योरसेल्फ फॉर द नेक्स्ट डे टू अप्रोच द कंपनी, अ न्यूअर कंपनी विद द सेम मोटिवेशन और द हायर मोटिवेशन?
Almost 9 out of 10 of your attempts will fail. Very true. But you don't stop trying. 1 year from now, would you like to be working in this job? Suppose आपको मिल गया, तनख्वाह मिल गया। 1 साल के बाद आपको अच्छा लगेगा यही काम करते हुए? You have graduates, you have postgraduates, you have PhDs applying for a Havildar's job. You keep on reading those reports, right? It's because the market is so difficult. Secondly, can we ask them what their motivations are? Is it money? Is it power? Is it fame? Is it just a livelihood?
I will ask one advice from you to the students directly, students and candidates, whoever are looking for opportunities anywhere, यहाँ पे abroad या वो कहीं और पढ़ना चाहते हैं, and they get disappointed very easily. So what would be your advice directly to them?
In a world where careers shape destinies, success requires more than ambition. It demands insight, strategy, and the right guidance. Today, we are thrilled to welcome Dr. Simanta Mohanty, CEO of Wooble Foundation, a trailblazer in career development and personal branding. With his transformative leadership, Dr. Mohanty has empowered countless individuals to achieve remarkable success. Join us as we uncover the secrets to building a future that not only meets but exceeds expectations. Welcome to Wooble Nexus, where your journey to success begins.
A warm welcome to Dr. Simanta Mohanty, sir. So, we are ready to learn from your expertise and share this information to everyone who would be listening to this podcast, sitting around the world from anywhere. So let's start with a quick icebreaker. If you had a superpower, what would you expect and how would you utilize it?
If I had a superpower, then I would love the power to feed people, as many as I can. Right?
Okay.
That would be a real superpower, to feed anyone.
As many number of people.
As many.
Okay, that's a great initiative. And the next question is, if you could ever travel on a historical event, what would it be and why?
That's a tough one. But a historical event that I read about and I value quite a lot is the 1857 mutiny, which is called the First War of Indian Independence, although that is disputed. So what happens is, I have been spending some time in Lucknow.
Okay.
And Lucknow was the epicenter of that rebellion, right? So you know that Rani Lakshmibai led it from Gwalior, and Lucknow is not all that far off. So I went recently to the Residency, which was the site of the British garrison out there. And I saw for myself what havoc the mutineers, the Indian mutineers, the rebels had caused over there. The walls still have a lot of the shell marks. You still see the rooms where the Britishers were trapped. In fact, many women and children were killed. And you have a lot of things there, how the kitchen was, where people used to gather for dining, the British residents would gather for dining. And then you realize, all of these things have disappeared. Right? Once upon a time, that Residency must have been such a vibrant, rich community, but today it's in ruins. It's the same thing with life everywhere. But that is an event that I would like to go back and look at in India for sure. I admire heritage and history. Globally, I go traveling to look at historical places. But this is one place that moved me.
Okay. So, sir, one more question. Why would you like that? Just because the culture was present there, or because of the thought of that independence or something like that? What was the reason?
Yeah, I mean, look at it this way. You and I sit over here in an independent India because some people mounted a mutiny at some point in time.
Okay.
The freedoms that we enjoy, the constitution that we uphold, the democracy that binds us, the voting that we do, is because these events
These
that
things,
paved the way, over centuries maybe. And many people paid a price for that with their life,
obviously.
with their freedoms. They were tortured, they were killed, their families killed, and but we got this freedom as a gift.
As a gift.
So that's why I would like
Yeah.
to go and at least stand and see Tantia Tope and Nana Sahib, or even it'd be a real privilege to even see Rani Lakshmibai in full gear on her
Yes.
horse fighting with the people. So,
Yeah.
no bigger thrill.
Obviously. So, sir, moving ahead with the next question. If you could host a dinner party with 3 famous people, either they can be living or dead, who would they be?
Well, I have so many. I have, I have a favorite author.
Mhm.
I read him quite a lot, and that is Eckhart Tolle, in case you've heard. He's the author of a book called The Power of Now
Ah,
and also A New Earth. He's somebody I would love to meet. He's a European who's settled in Canada,
mhm.
but he's somebody I would love to meet. Second person that I would like to have for dinner with me, since I do a lot of quizzing, is of course Derek O'Brien.
Mhm.
And the third is, no guesses, Amitabh Bachchan.
Obviously. The Power of Now I have read, and the idea of how instantly we can think of decision and how we can implement it into life. It is about that. Any specific reason about meeting the other two? Amitabh Bachchan, okay, we understand the fan following.
So, when I went into quizzing, Derek was an inspiration.
Yeah.
And quizzing remains a passion. Quizzing is something I enjoy quite a lot. And so, therefore, having Derek at a dinner would be very entertaining. Plus, his journey is something I also
Yeah,
admire.
the journey, because I wanted that, because we relate with the story, that how they have come to that stage after struggling and everything. So I think that is what we relate with.
So Derek
More.
took his chances. He was a quiz master. He went independent. I think when he started, he would say, "I didn't know where my next meal is going to come from."
Mhm.
But he stuck on. He went big in quizzing. He became a media star.
Yeah.
And then he went into politics, and he's been a member of parliament now for almost 10 years, 10,
Yes.
10, 12 years. So it's been a very fascinating, inspiring journey. And he's somebody who's very forthright, very frank. I admire that, and would love to have him for dinner. Now, I just want to say that you asked 3, so I named 3 men, right?
Mm.
There are women also I
Obviously.
would love to have for dinner, but but I will leave it at that. And maybe.
So you can complete it. Why not?
There are so many. There are so many of them. Starting from an actress I admire a lot, Malini ji, then to Smriti Irani ji, Sonia Gandhi ji. Such fantastic women.
I doubt both of them will come to the same dinner party.
Well, that would depend. You don't know me yet. Maybe I can.
So moving ahead with the question, sir. Your career is nothing sort of inspiring. Could you walk us through the pivotal moments that define your journey in HR, communication, and skill development?
Sure, I would do that. It's been a lengthy journey. It's spanned 3 decades. But I want to tell you something. I think this is how I capture the spirit of an organization and learn from it. It's just about a week back, Arpita sent me a LinkedIn connection request, and I usually take a little time in scrutinizing who has sent me the request, what could be the motive and all that. But then I saw, top leadership voice. That's a badge that she wears on her LinkedIn. I said, it's not every day that I receive a connection request from somebody who's a top leadership voice on LinkedIn. And so I accepted it immediately. And after that, one thing has led to another, and I'm seated here. So somewhere the pivotal moments in life come very, suddenly. They are very serendipitous in the sense that, there are beautiful things you come across by surprise. So my pivotal moment in life would be when I started looking for a job. I had just lost my father. This was 1988. 1986, I lost him, and when I came in 1988 to Bhubaneswar, I said I need a job. So I went to media organization, starting a newspaper, and said I need a job. When I walked into that first job of mine, has been the start of a great journey. That was for a newspaper which no longer exists, which is Sun Times. It exists only in a digital format. But I spent a year there, and it was great writing articles, conducting quizzes, doing up pages. In those days they used to paste, pages and then send them for printing. So that kind of work really charged me. So from there, I moved to Steel Authority of India, which is a public sector organization. Then from Steel Authority, I moved to CARE, which is a non-profit organization. And I moved to Wipro, IBM, then Dr. Reddy's, then went on to do a PhD. So life has been full of changes, all of which I have driven, all of which I have enjoyed, including doing my PhD. These, I think the decision to move from the public sector to the private sector, the decision to work for the non-profit sector, to get to know the society that we work for, all of these have been the main themes of my career, and I've enjoyed that.
Yeah. So, sir, can you introduce your role in fourth wave? Like, what is your responsibility and how you make sure that everything is moving fine?
I'll tell you. So Fourth Wave belongs to, not belongs to, which is, it's an organization that is started by Diana Vincent. Diana. So look at how things happen. Diana and I used to work together for an organization called Partners in Change in Bangalore when I went to do a short sabbatical from SAIL. So Diana was there also. She used to lead another organization called Sabha, which was into rural marketing.
Okay.
So Diana and I became friends. Diana at that time was not married. And we worked together. We were colleagues for around 3 months. But that was enough. We became friends for life. Then Diana started Fourth Wave. She got married, and then she and her husband set up Fourth Wave Foundation to bring in children, disabled, children with special abilities, into mainstream education. Somewhere society believes that people with disabilities must belong to a separate institution. That doesn't help, them psychologically or physically. And it doesn't sensitize us also towards what the actual needs of the disabled people could be. So she worked towards bringing disabled children into mainstream education. And when, about last year, she called me up and said that, I want to roll out Odisha as well. Because Odisha has this thing. Odisha has about 12 lakh children who are disabled, right? Who suffer from disabilities. As per the last census, which happened in 2011. Since then,
so the numbers are quite high.
The numbers are very high. And yet, only about 1 lakh or 2 lakh children are in mainstream schools. So the situation is fairly dire. So I want to tell you a little more about this Fourth Wave Foundation. So Fourth Wave Foundation happened, and it rolled on. But then in the meantime, I got a call from a friend of mine who leads a public health research organization in Lucknow, Dr. Vishwajit Kumar. And he said, Simant, I need to set up the HR in his organization is called Community Empowerment Lab. Okay. So can you come and set up the HR systems in my organization? Because it's growing, it's heavily funded, and they do a lot of important, especially the work around kangaroo mother care. So in case you haven't heard of kangaroo mother care, I think you should all explore it and discover it. Kangaroo mother care says that when a child is born, don't wash it, don't clean it. I mean, just wipe off, the residual from the mother's womb, and then place it next to the mother's chest. That is all you need to do to make life healthy for that child, right? So it was not accepted, but a lot of research went into this, to proving that actually children survive better when kangaroo mother care is practiced. And now it's a globally renowned practice. And Community Empowerment Lab, which Dr. Vishwajit Kumar leads, is one of the pioneers in doing research in poor, resource-starved settings to prove that kangaroo mother care actually. And today his organization is rolling out kangaroo mother care all over rural Uttar. So that's why I'm spending a lot of time in Lucknow, although Diana is asking me to take charge of the program over here. So I'm spending a lot of time doing what I love doing, which is the HR work. But this is where I'm now shuttling.
Okay.
After I left Milk Mantra to between two non-profit organizations.
Okay, that's great to listen the initiatives in Uttar Pradesh that they are taking care of. So, sir, I wanted to understand the HR works have shifted a lot as per the digital things are moving ahead. Earlier, we used to have different kind of interviews, different kind of information that we used to gather during a discussion. And today we have a different kind of discussion as IT has evolved in India. So, do you think that this digitalization is good for the HRs or bad for the HRs? Because earlier we were supposed to believe what the student is telling, but now we have perfect tools to understand whether the certificates were right or not, whether the particular candidate has done that internship, done that project or not. So, how this has brought some difference into the HR industry?
It has impacted HR tremendously,
Mhm.
right? I remember the first time I came across background verification.
Yeah.
Right. So you have BGVs.
Mhm.
Then I realized that there are agencies which were carrying out, and they were scouring the web.
Mhm.
They're looking at social
Even the
media sites,
offline channels.
offline as well as online channels. They're looking at what kind of positions this person has taken to see whether the person fits into that organization which has commissioned them. So, like BGV, you have a lot of tools now which are at the disposal of HR. For example, AI, as they keep saying, AI is not just about candidate screening, doing diversity hiring. It's not just about that. AI is also about proctoring your exams.
Mhm.
If you are doing a written exam, then AI actually proctors and finds out whether you
Yeah.
are writing stuff which will make sense to them. The impact is huge, right? And in every stage, it's not just in recruitment, also in performance appraisal, also in writing, writing your appraisals. In everything, technology and new methods of assessment are coming into play. But I have a point of view regarding all of this. I think the way we did this part earlier is failing because organizations realize that whatever they do, if they're getting in a candidate that didn't simply know
Mhm.
with whatever tools that they have used, then it's still taking a chance, right? What I think is going to work in the recruitment wave of the future is the relationships, and that starts from the college, from the university stage itself, and it's something very important to drill into our students of HR, of management, of whatever.
Mhm.
That if you meet industry and you talk to industry leaders, that is going to help your job prospects much more than anything else. Fine, a great resume does wonders. Great communication skills, your skills will do wonders. But more and more, I think organizations are going to emphasize the relationship aspect in recruitment.
Okay. So if we summarize this, a student from the beginning of the college or maybe while they are graduating should look around whom they should talk. Like whatever industry they are seeking for, they should start connecting them. The leaders in those industries, if they are seeking for finance, then people from the finance sector, they should start connecting with them
You said that right.
to
Absolutely.
understand what is the current market scenario. But sir, here the problem is a lot of students who are going to take interviews for a particular job doesn't know whether they fit into the job or not. They are kind of completely what we say, they are completely lacking the information that is needed to decide whether they should be hired for that job or not.
Let me rephrase that. So students should connect not just with those who will give them jobs,
Mhm.
but those who can help them get the jobs. Maybe like Wooble,
Yeah.
right? They should have professional mentoring by people who will tell them who to connect with, what their aptitudes are. First of all, what their aptitudes.
Yeah.
Understand that fully, and then guide them on to the right organizations to connect with and how to connect with, how to frame that letter. how
Exactly.
to frame that cover letter, how to make your resume attractive, how to make that elevator pitch, as you would say, how to make that elevator pitch, practice it over and over again. So it's not just connecting with people who can give them the job, also with people who will enable them to get the job.
Yes.
It's been a theme. Let me tell you, even when I did my doctoral dissertation is something that makes people uncomfortable. When I went to see skill development programs, I went to say a skill training program in Puri,
Yeah.
and it was on tailoring.
Okay.
I found it all packed with girls, as if girls are only made to do tailoring, boys cannot do anything. But we know how many men are tailoring. I went to Niagara to look at another skill set, and there I found that everybody was learning how to make phenyl just because the skill training provider knew how to teach making phenyl.
Mhm.
So I started questioning whether there are so many opportunities for phenyl making units to be set up or this business to grow. And then when you have people who are coming in from the villages to learn skills, do we ask them what you want to learn? Where does your attitude lie? Where does your heart lie? Right? Do we ask these fundamental basic questions? While we do a lot of asking of the industries,
Yeah.
because they employ the people, what kind of skills you need, what kind of talent you need. There is this huge power mismatch. Industries are extremely powerful, these students are not. So everybody is put through some kind of a machine to come out in one way to suit industries. And then what they do is they pack them off to distant lands like Mumbai and Bangalore for a salary of 7,000 or 10,000 where they cannot survive. That is when the idea for my thesis came, and I did the research. If we ask students what they want to do,
Mhm.
will they be doing what they are currently doing, or will it be different? Secondly, can we ask them what their motivations are?
Mhm.
Is it money? Is it power? Is it fame? Is it just a livelihood? Right? And the third thing, we want to know whether their community is involved in making these decisions. More and more, our work is taking us away from our communities, starting right with our parents, to our cousins, to our brothers, sisters, everyone. More and more, the community is becoming more distended and kind of separated because of the jobs that we do. So that is what my thesis is about. And I guess in these modern settings, be it in engineering colleges, in architecture colleges or medical colleges, it's important to tell people what kind of jobs do you want. A doctor in training may not want to go to a large hospital and become a cog in the wheel. A doctor might want to do something else, might want to set up his or her own clinic for one. Secondly, maybe go and work in rural outfits, maybe work in communities, or maybe want to carry on research in a medical field somewhere. So it need not be a one size fits all in our education.
Mhm.
That's something that our students need to realize, and that's where organizations like Google come in. Like I said, you don't connect just with those who can give you jobs, but you connect more with those who will enable you to get the jobs, be it independent organizations or be it your own teachers, your own academics, your own, that class itself. You connect more with them and get the insights to get the job. That's my view.
So, sir, the analogy you explained, the phenyl making process that was being taught to students at Nayagarh, because there were factories who wanted to teach this, or there were teachers who wanted to teach that because they were expert in that.
Yes.
I think the same thing is being carried away in a very different way. There are companies or maybe institutions who have been set up just to teach a particular thing, which is like a short term wave. We may consider Python that came 2 3 years back, that everyone was teaching Python, and all the students were expected to enroll into Python programs to learn ML, AI. Before that, there was different languages came, like Java came for a moment. Before that, C came for a moment. So I think this is happening majorly due to the problem you gave, the difference in power in the company side and difference in company side compared to individuals. So if suppose we are a student, I am a student, and I want to independently understand that if I go into that institute or an organization, what will I be expected to do? So we as companies, as HRs, how we can make them, help them to understand that what will be your set of expectations by the company when you join it.
By spending more and more time with them. I think HR owes it
Mhm.
to schools, to the youngsters, to the future generations which are coming up,
Mhm.
to spend more and more time with students in universities, colleges, and in classes, telling them this is what a job is.
Mhm.
Everybody thinks that if I, crack EY or if I get into IBM, what waits for me maybe 2 3 years down the line is a Mercedes,
Yes.
a swanky apartment in Bangalore,
Mhm.
or an off-site in California. Everybody goes around that, but the real nitty-gritties of the job, the real hard work that goes, I won't say it's paid. I think everything should be enjoyed. The real hard work that goes into the job, the real problems of creating connections at a workplace, the problems of finding your heart in the job. These are things I think HR should talk about.
Yes.
If you do not think that a coder's job is going to appeal to you,
Mm.
don't join IBM at the beginner's level. Go and maybe teach. Go and maybe find some other job, right? And also HR should prepare them for the shocks that come with it. That is something that they also must do, and also an organization like Wooble should do. Building the resilience, building the skills, not just the soft skills, but the hard skill of being very hard up here, being very mentally strong. These are skills that our students need. They are coming into the real world wearing rose tinted glasses.
Yeah.
And when the dream fades, they are left disillusioned. It scars them, and they carry these scars throughout their life. I remember joining Steel Authority of India Limited without knowing anything about what an organization is. I went into, so I was put into, they have this trainees hostel, and I was put up in that training. Every now and then, a senior in that hostel would come along and say, ये क्या जगह ज्वाइन कर लिया तुमने, इसमें क्या होने वाला है, स्टील अथॉरिटी तो इतना बदमाश ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, तुमको कुछ नहीं देने वाला है, right? तुम बहुत जल्दी फ्रस्ट्रेटेड हो जाओ. I realized that later on, 10 15 years now, and I realized that whichever organization you go to, there are some of these unhappy uncles. Right? And these unhappy uncles, I think they're born with the purpose of making others unhappy as well.
The
So many-
Fufajis of the organization.
Sorry?
The Fufajis of the
The
organization.
Fufajis, whatever. They're unhappy, they are out to make you unhappy. And अगर आपने उनकी बातें सुन ली
हम्म.
और अगर आपने सोच लिया कि यही तो होना है,
हम्म.
then you will spend your life being so frustrated, right? You will spend your life being absolutely frustrated. आप तो शुरुआत ही कर लिए कि मेरी जिंदगी अंधेरे में आ गई.
Mm.
So these are things that I think we in HR, organizations that deal with HR issues, and also the organizations that hire people should spend time clarifying to students in universities, colleges, and everywhere else. Be frank, say that life is not a bed of roses, but these are the skills that will make you, sleep well.
Survive through that.
Will make you sleep well, maybe even thrive.
Mm.
Not just survive, but also thrive. The skills are you have to be resilient, you have to be patient, a quality which people are lacking now more and more. You have to be resilient, you have to be patient, and you have to be skilled in whatever you do. And you have to take the good with the bad, because it will not always be bad, it will not always be. So these are things that we need to tell our children. Apart from teaching them about AI, ML, I'm not saying that they should not be taught all of these things. They can, they should be. But the aspects of life that will make a difference to their work has to be taught. And I think that's where your mandate really comes in.
Obviously, sir, we are trying our best to impart this knowledge to all the students as well as the organization, that how to make this best possible match where the organization can also understand the candidates requirement as a work life balance, which we call today, and the students or the candidates should also ensure that whatever value they are expected to provide to the company is being fulfilled parallelly. Otherwise, there is no one way solution to this problem. Going ahead with the next question, the market is very rapidly changing as per the digitalization and recent introduction of chat GPT and everything. How students are expected to be 100% accurate when their competitors are cheating or they are giving projects which are made by artificial intelligence, and we as companies or HRs, how we need to evaluate them when we understand that there are competitors of a particular person who are cheating.
Yeah, before I answer that question, it's a great question. Before I answer that, I want to talk to you about that work-life balance you mentioned.
Yeah.
Right? You know, recently Starbucks replaced their global head CEO, Lakshmi Narasimhan.
Yeah.
So that, and I think one of the key reasons was an interview he gave in which he said, "I do not work beyond 6 p.m. I do not take any calls. I do not work beyond 6 p.m." Slowly, it is coming into law that you bosses cannot disturb people beyond 6 p.m. You know, if you are really passionate about the work and if you really value the money it brings in, time doesn't matter. You'll find time to give to your family even after doing your work. That's my short take on work life. Coming to this cheating aspect, as more and more people adopt or adopt these practices or these unfair means, the policing systems digitally are also becoming strong
With the same technology.
with the same technology, using the same technology. You know, every PhD thesis has to go through an anti-plagiarism scan, right? And if the plagiarism report throws up a match beyond 10%, then that thesis is rejected. It is not accepted by the university.
Yeah.
So we are doing that in universities now. It's only a matter of time before everything that a student submits is going to run through
Plagiarism.
a plagiarism too. For me, it is now very easy to find out who has actually done something on ChatGPT and sent it. The syntax, what is ChatGPT? It's a model, right?
Yeah.
It's a code. The code has a certain, you may say it's AI and it's very advanced and all that. It still is a code. It runs through that. So the syntax, the way it is structured, the thoroughness with which the matter comes up, the thoroughness in each thing will give it away that it's not written by a human being. It's easy for us now. We know that. But we use it to say, frame a JD, frame some interview questions, or to frame something that we do not know, to get in the data from the web and all other sources. So that's what happens. And remember, if you are a student and you have been given an assignment and it is supposed to be a creative assignment and you're supposed to do an original piece of work, you just stick to what is required of you. You're not supposed to bother about cheaters and haters and all that. They will always exist at all times, but it is only a matter of time before your work and the kind of value that you bring to the table is recognized. May not happen the first time, may not happen the second time, but it will happen in due course. It is what you are building. What is the code within you building up? Is it building you up to be a person with great integrity, creativity, and honesty? Or is it telling you also join the rank of the cheaters? One day or the other, you will be found out. Everybody will be found out. HR is an expert in doing that, right? Yes. So we'll find that out. So don't get into that trap. Don't get into the trap of what the competition wants you to do. Be your own person. Do your duty diligently and honestly, and the rewards will come. That's what I have seen across 33 years.
So, to summarize this, I would say that even a student who is trying to be the best submit an application or maybe submit an assignment trying to build a project, they should always make sure that they are trying to do that with complete honesty. They are trying to build whatever has been given by the institution or organization rather than following what their competitors are doing it, because at some point of time the people sitting on the opposite side are experienced enough to find it out at the very short period of time. So, moving ahead with the next question, there are tools we discussed about that HRs have to understand whether they will fit into this organization or not. One such traditional tool is a resume. What's your view on a resume and any standardization of resume you would personally like when you are given a resume for the first time of a first candidate? So you are completely unknown of that candidate, and you first see a plain paper from the candidate.
So, the best thing that a recruiter would like is to meet every candidate in person.
Definitely.
Right? So there are 2 lakh applicants for a job, so you cannot meet all of them in person. The resume is a necessary tool, necessary first step to evaluate someone. But you and I know the resumes and the quality can vary huge depending on the application you bring in, depending on the vision that you bring in, depending on the creativity that you bring. So while I like a well-written resume, I would also like a cover letter to come along with it. I would love to understand the person's motivations in coming more than the skills that he brings. I have always been a proponent of hiring for cultural fit, rather than skill fit, right? Skills can be taught.
Yes.
The person doesn't have the skill. But if the person has the ability or shows the aptitude to learn, then I would rather have that person, because he or she can not just learn that skill, but also learn beyond that and fit in. So I am a proponent of that. Not, people may not agree, because if I were to hire for skill, like, I read somewhere, I would rather hire a freelancer to just do that, carpentry piece of work and go away. If I want somebody to belong to my organization, then I would like that person to be, gelling with the team, giving off good vibes, and, giving up the best of his ability to learn and to develop others also in the process. So I need that motivation letter. I need that letter of motivation. I need that resume. But we all know that resumes can be, tailored to certain assignments. If you were to write a resume, if somebody were to write a resume, I would say that, keep that job in mind. What does that job require? What you are applying for? Keep that in mind and customize your resume accordingly. And I guess that is where, people like you and other agencies come in. Even in universities and campuses also, that must be taught.
Yes.
We cannot do away with resumes.
Yeah.
But what we can do next is to have, after the resume, to take them through good test where they will write on the spot and be evaluated on the spot. So those are techniques which HR is learning to use now, more and more. So that will happen. But this is my view. A resume, I need a resume that doesn't tell me that the person is a great cinematographer when actually all I want is a good photographer.
So it should be basically tailored based upon the job they are looking for,
I think so,
rather than putting a lot of jargon and other information into
absolutely. Otherwise, it's a waste of the time of the recruiter.
And so one big question lies into the students' mind these days are, if they are applying for a job which is for fresher, what should they mention in the experience section if they have done nothing till now?
Fresher, I'm fresh. Mold me the way you want to. Tell me what I need to do. I'm all yours and you are all mine.
Yes.
Come on.
So this is the optimistic way they can handle the situation when they have zero experience.
Absolutely. I mean, I would love a fresher who brings in that energy, that fresh energy. If hungry for the job, hungry for that assignment, hungry for that experience. What greater asset can there be for an organization? There cannot be anything greater. Not 40 years, 50 years of experience can bring in what, passion and energy that fresher will bring in.
The new ideas can come based upon the recent trends in the market that I think the experienced ones cannot bring in that manner.
They bring whatever experience brings. But freshers bring this particular thing. Experienced ones bring in, they know how to tackle what. Why do we want experienced ones? Because we want people who can handle crisis, who can have a cool head in times of a crisis. I don't expect a fresher to have, by the way. Right? I need an experienced person who has gone through the fire and the heat and the water
Yes.
earlier, so that they can stay cool and handle a crisis in case they come across it.
Yeah.
That is why you need a CEO with about 20 years of experience,
Yes.
because crises are erupting all the time. If the person at the top starts behaving like, I can do this and just jump around on this thing, like I would expect a fresher to do,
Yes.
then the company is going to sink.
Yes.
So what I want is the experienced people bring in the capacity to handle crisis, to set the vision,
The
to set the
resilience.
strategy. The freshers bring in the energy, the passion, the hunger that we all need in every.
Very true. So I would like to summarize this by saying that students who are freshers and are scared of telling it to the companies in their resume that they have no experience can take this line from sir, that they can use it in a very different way to get recruited in the companies. So moving ahead, sir.
I don't think they need to. I mean, we all know that we all began as freshers once.
Yes.
We didn't have any experience at one point in time, right?
Yes.
And somebody had the faith to hire us, and that is why we grew to where we are.
To have experience.
We have to treat freshers in the same way, same.
To address that, sir, if someone is very fresh and they don't have any opportunities as such, or maybe the time or the college doesn't allow, how fruitful are the projects or the live projects available in internets to go through them, like maybe the case studies, the papers that are in the internet? Is it of some help for them to go through them, build them, and put it into their resume?
Yeah. So when I was a fresher and I appeared in interviews, I was asked, "What management books have you been reading?" I mean, I went in for a corporate career. What management books have you been reading? And I had to answer. So to any fresher in any field who's trying for a job, I would say be very well read in that field where you're going to make your mark. Right? If you're going to be a design consultant, read about design. If you're going to be an IT, read about IT and the new developments. And read books. Every fresher should spend time reading books, and never to undervalue, what books can do in interviews.
Very
Books can do in interactions with seniors. So I think that when a fresher goes to meet, it's not just the projects, it's not just what they have done and what they have read. It's also the wisdom that they carry into a conversation that is going to matter. All the projects, all the live projects and everything, all the capstone projects that they have done are their calling cards.
Yeah.
Are their calling cards. They have to utilize that. But, meeting the prospective employer with certain amount of knowledge of your area will always help the person find a job. That is my belief.
Okay. So, sir, concluding this resume set of questions, any resume that you have found the most funny and any incident about that?
There are quite a lot of them, but I have enjoyed video resumes a lot. I think what you should do now is help people prepare the resumes on videos. And what I have found, to answer the question, is Netflix values. I hope you have seen that. If you have not, I think you should go and see Netflix presentation on what their HR is. When Netflix began, we put things like integrity, passion, sustainability, teamwork, commitment, which you have done. Netflix said, sorry, none of these matter. What matters to me? I need to sell my movies.
Mhm.
So our core values: sell our movies, right? Make money, right? So these are things. So I found that very funny. But I really, as an HR lead, I really haven't come across many people who send out funny resumes. Maybe you can show me a few, since you are an expert in that area. But I don't know what that funny resume did.
A funny resume sort of doesn't mean that they have intentionally made it funny, but it sounds to be funny as they have come. So someone applying for a job in IT field, having an internship in some medical area, someone applying for a job in a place where we need a lot of skills based upon visual designing, but they have experience in retail industry, that kind of resumes and the way they apply, obviously.
So, the job market is so competitive and it is so tough that we have a lot of people applying for jobs for which they're obviously not skilled, in the hope that they will get an interview call, right? And in the hope that they somehow make a mark. Oh, we get those all the time. We get those all the time. And we have a lot of overqualified people, applying for jobs which are obviously below their caliber, and yet they're doing it because the job market is what it is.
Yes.
They keep on applying. And one other thing that I don't do is I don't believe that everybody understands the job requirement.
Obviously they are eager to apply very fast.
Whenever they see a job ad, इसको कैसे अप्लाई कर दे, बस अप्लाई कर दे, मुझे एक इंटरव्यू बुला दे, हे भगवान. That is the desperation which is there, and it's a very desperate situation. So given that context, another key role that I think Wooble and others have is to educate people on how to read a job ad, how to parse the real skills which are required, and then to address it, and then to ask them that 1 year from now, would you like to be working in this job? Suppose आपको मिल गया, तनख्वाह मिल गया, 1 साल के बाद आपको अच्छा लगेगा यही काम करते हुए? You have graduates, you have postgraduates, you have PhDs applying for a Havildar's job. You keep on reading those reports, right? It's because the market is so difficult. So making them understand the job, making them go to the root of what the requirements could be, and then to address those, I think is going to be very, very important. But the job seeker's condition, let me tell you, is not a very good one at the moment. At the moment, it's not a very good one. It's not a throbbing job market that we have. And yet, the flip side, Akash, is that every organization you go to cries that we don't have talent.
That is the problem of the demand and supply mismatch that we have.
The mismatch in getting the fits. The mismatch, where does the mismatch start? It starts right from college. Because you're being trained in a certain way, in a job market that goes in a certain way. You don't tell people how to determine what actual skills are required, right? And then to apply for the job. If not, I remember when I was job searching, a long time back, I used to go to the organization's doorsteps and drop my resume there and ask for somebody to meet. So some of those things people need to do and get to know people, build the relationships which are important.
So let's sort this out. Since you are here, we are here, let's make a SOP on how the students should apply for jobs. What are the things that they should look upon? उन्हें क्या क्या देखना चाहिए जब वो अप्लाई बटन पे क्लिक करते हैं? कुछ 4-5 पॉइंट्स पे, जैसे कि वो मैंडेटरी फील्ड है, जब भी वो अप्लाई करें उस चीज को जरूर से देखें. जैसे आपने एक चीज बताया कि क्या वो 1 साल बाद वहां पे रहेंगे कि नहीं रहेंगे. That is one big factor, I think, that would filter out a lot of jobs that they would never stick to. So similarly, let's make a 3-4 point SOP.
That is very easy, and that starts with knowing what skills you have.
So first of all, the student's job is to list down their skills,
okay, their strengths,
okay,
technical and interpersonal, personal, जो भी है,
हाँ,
उसको लिस्ट करना है, right?
एक पेन पेपर में अपना स्किल्स को लिस्ट डाउन करना.
अपना स्किल्स को आपने लिस्ट कर दिया. The second thing is there's a job ad that has come out, right? And it says these are the specifications, right? You look at the specifications carefully. hey bhai isme kya chahiye, you know, they want somebody who is fluent in English. Second, it's somebody who can go into the market every day regular basis पे, क्या मैं जा पाऊंगा, would I like that,
feasibility.
yeah, हाँ, वो आप उसको आपको देखना है. The third thing is somebody who will drive 150% increase in sales month after month. अगर ऐसा कोई, I'm just giving, I'm exaggerating.
If the objective is given.
If the objective is given, then you need to know whether I will find the passion, whether I have the ability to drive it or not.
Exactly.
Right? तो ये आपको list करनी. These are the two things. The third thing is go to the website of the organization. Look at their values, mission,
Vision.
and goals and other things. Look at the leadership. Does it appeal to you? ये आपको बनानी है. The fourth thing is, apart from applying, what else can I do? You know, if you're part of the SOP, apart from applying, if I want to get noticed, if I want to get hired, what else can I do? Can I write a mail to their head HR? कहीं पे mail है, कहीं पे phone number है.
That extra effort counts.
That extra effort you need to put in, right? Number 5 is highlight the practical projects that you have done. Highlight the practical project.
And that should align with the objective of the organization.
Absolutely. फर्स्ट तो ये दोनों आप कर लिए, आपके स्किल्स और जो जॉब की स्किल्स है उसमें कोई मैच है या नहीं आप देख लो. अगर आपको 90% मैच नहीं मिल रहा है, डोंट गो, बिकॉज द जॉब एड्स एग्जैजरेट
The benefits.
the benefits as well as the you know, some of the requirements they tone down, but benefits also they exaggerate. अगर 90% मैच नहीं हो रहा है, just don't get in. उसके बाद आप ये सारी चीजें आप करें, and then these should be part of your SOP when you build it, right? And who else can you approach? That was the third thing. And what was the fourth thing I said? Highlight the practical projects. So ये आप highlight करें, then you send it.
Yes. So these are the 5 SOP points I think every student should follow up whenever they are seeing a job ad or they are applying it anywhere. Moving ahead, sir, ये तो बहुत अच्छा हमने सीख लिया कि कैसे अप्लाई करते वक्त हमें क्या क्या ध्यान देना है. But every application is either an acceptance or a rejection in different levels. So I might apply for 100 of applications, but I need only one. So the company also has limitation. The student or the candidate also has limitation. Now, until I reach that one of the 100, there are 99 rejections in my life within the next 1 to 2 months. So you just said कि आप resumes door to door जाके walk-ins करते थे. तो after doing so much effort, जिस दिन आपको पता चलता था कि आज मेरा selection फिर से नहीं हुआ, तो उस टाइम पे how would you hold yourself for the next day to approach the company, a newer company with the same motivation or the higher motivation?
So I tell you, I was young then, right? And youngsters have greater ability to bounce back.
The resilience is higher.
The resilience is much higher. The ability to take disappointments is much higher. Why? Because there aren't too many responsibilities at that time, right? I was also not married at that time. Looking for a job. I was a fresher. So youngsters have greater resilience. And so therefore, I faced innumerable rejections. And it is a law that of almost 9 out of 10 of your attempts will fail. Right?
Very true.
But you don't stop trying. Nobody stops trying. You know, I faced it like, fine, it's okay. I'll go ahead and apply elsewhere. There are many other jobs. And in those days, there weren't too many jobs, right? When I was younger. The economy had not boomed. The IT sector had not come in. Nothing had happened. But yet, I don't think I ever lost my optimism.
So, sir, when you are looking for a job, there are people around you who already have a job or they just got a job. They kind of demotivate the person who is looking for a job. This scenario happens when people are in universities or are freshers. They start comparing themselves with the peer ones. So how would they handle that? They see someone else getting the job even when they are not qualified, or maybe comparatively they are more qualified. How would they handle it?
No, frankly, let me tell you, if I and somebody else were trying for the same thing and that person got it and I didn't, my first thought was, if he could do it, then I can also.
Taking it in an optimistic way.
Yeah, I can. And, I'll do it maybe the next time. That's one. The comparisons, and especially if you're in a closed community, like you are in a management college, where the campus placements are taking place, and one after another, your batchmates are getting placed. and you have not been placed. It's not a very comfortable scene at all. And yet, in due course, within maybe after all the campus placements have closed and some people are left behind, in 2, 3, 4 months' time, all of them find their way.
Definitely.
It's not the end of the world. Our students, our children in colleges and universities have to be taught that no crisis is an end of the world crisis for anyone.
Definitely.
And that is the strength you need to build in all of them. You have to keep trying, you have to keep approaching people, you have to keep applying, but don't ever give up saying that that person got it, mera to nahi hua, and break down and cry over that. It's not going to help you.
Even the situations can worsen.
Yeah, it can worsen. You might go into a depression, right? Or time might just fly by and you'll be sitting at home. ये सारी चीजें हो चुकी. It's only natural. They have to be taught. ये तो पहले दिन उनको बता देना चाहिए था. Apart from matchmaking, हमारे business colleges, I don't know whether you met your wife also in college or something like that. So, you did?
We met in school.
You met in school. See, there it is. So apart from matchmaking, they have to be taught that ये अच्छा जगह है, you can find your mate and all that. But apart from that, you have to learn that disappointment will take place. My professor in university used to tell me this, that there are some people in this class you will see who will stand first. Not everybody will stand first. But that doesn't mean that you have lost everything. The one who has come second or the one who has come third has not lost everything. So that these are things you need to talk to children. You might say that grown-up MBA kids would know, but you have no idea how many people actually need reinforcement of these thoughts in their course or in their life skills talk that we need to do.
Very true. And I also think, sir, कि जब वो phase चल रहा होता है, that is the point where they want to perform. They are expected to perform the best. They have to face the personal interview when they have just got the rejection letter yesterday. तो उस moment पे they need to keep up to them that okay, this will happen, and even if this doesn't happen, I'll not stop applying. क्योंकि in a personal interview, the confidence directly lowers based upon the rejections that they have come.
Yep.
So they have to be optimistic about the next applications that they are making. इसमें सर छोटा सा एक और गैप है, वो मैं क्लैरिफाई करने का कोशिश करूंगा. बहुत सारे बच्चे होते हैं जिनका बेटर मार्क्स होता है, बेटर मतलब मोर देन एवरेज मार्क्स. सो सपोज पीपल विथ 95% above marks, they also face difficulty in getting the job when they had the mindset from the first year that I am better in the college or the university because I get good marks. I get easily 90 plus marks, where the students are suffering for 75-76% marks. और जब उनका सिलेक्शन नहीं होता है तो they kind of completely break down. They say that this study didn't help me. So I think we need to put more light on the area, how the window selection criteria of the companies work and why they should not be demotivated with such rejections.
I told you that when I or many other HR leads I know, when they hire for a cultural fit. They hire for the ability to learn. Where does the ability to learn come in? The ability to learn comes in from humility.
Yes.
Right? When you know that I may not know everything. So when it comes to marks, there are two things out there. One is the arrogance. The second is the tyranny. Okay? So arrogance and tyranny दोनों ही होते हैं. So this person who's standing first, right, has to be told that it's not enough. Marks are only, the academic achievement is only a part of your life.
Yes.
The other parts are also very important, which is building relationships, being open to learning, accommodating your peers and juniors, then respecting other people who have knowledge and experience. These are some of the things that you need to also practice.
Even accepting failures in a very calm way.
Natural. It's only natural. That is where resilience is taught. Accepting failure. So there is a saying in Japanese, fall down 7 times, get up 8. That is what determines success. So these are skills that you need to teach youngsters, especially in engineering colleges.
Yes.
80% of engineering students, statistics show, are unemployable.
So, sir, what do you think? What is the reason? So, is there a gap in the thing that we are teaching and the thing that is required by the industry, or what is the gap?
So they are teaching them skills. They're teaching them the technical tools, right? They're not teaching them to fit into organizational requirements. What does that mean? It means the ability to communicate. बातें तो कर सकते हो ठीक तरह से, अपनी जो दिल की बात है, अपनी जो काम है, उसको तो आप समझा सकते हो, right? They're not teaching them. See, there is over here in Odisha is the headquarters of the Biju Patnaik National Steel Institute.
Yeah.
In case you have heard of it.
Yeah.
So BPNSI goes to steel plants. Several steel companies are here. Odisha is the hub of steel, and they conduct classes in iron making, steel making, and also in emotional intelligence. So you have no idea what a hit those emotional intelligence classes are. These engineers who have come out from engineering colleges, they have never been told that emotional intelligence is crucial for your success, that empathy has been determined as one of the most important qualities for success. Self-awareness, you need to be aware of how who you are. Self-awareness is important. Empathy is important. ये सारी चीजें उनको पता ही नहीं जाती, तो वो जानते नहीं है. और तो आपके इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट जो है, अगर इंटरव्यू में चले जाएं टाटा स्टील में, राइट, कई सारे इंडस्ट्री इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस से, तो वहां से तो रिजेक्ट ही करते. टाटा स्टील हैज ग्रेट कम्युनिटी बॉन्डिंग फीलिंग.
डेफिनेटली.
अगर वो बच्चे फिट नहीं हो पा रहे हैं, बातें नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, हिंदी में हो, अंग्रेजी में हो, कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स नहीं है, तो ये कैसे जाएंगे वहां पे?
सर्वाइव ही नहीं कर पाएंगे.
सर्वाइव ही नहीं कर पाएंगे ना. तो इसीलिए 80% ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट्स हैव बीन फाउंड टू बी अनएम्प्लॉयबल, which is such a tragedy. They spend a bomb getting that education. Parents are spending a bomb getting them that education. And at the end of it, this is what is happening. Because they have not been told that बातें करना, लोगों के साथ घुलना मिलना, रिलेशनशिप बनाना, ये सब भी इम्पोर्टेंट है अपनी पढ़ाई के साथ,
जो कि वो एजुकेशन के खर्चे से बहुत कम है और जो कि ज़्यादा ROI देगा. But we are not focusing on that. We are focusing on only on the skills inside the whatever the technical skills. So this has happened. Okay, we are now at a stage where we understand that what is the problem. If someone is a student in engineering college and they are being given a lot of skills, technical skills, कुछ ऐसे steps जो वो कर सकते हैं to improvise this, to be ready for themselves that they don't face that challenge. One of those things is talk to your peers, talk to your teachers, build good relationships. But can there be a step-wise plan कि वो क्या करें ताकि उनका communication skills जब तक उनके placement आए, they are ready to communicate, or maybe they are ready with that EQ what we were talking about.
See, काश ये सारे चीजें जो है ना स्टूडेंट्स पे छोड़ दी जा सकती. देखिए, हम लोग एग्जिस्ट करते हैं, आप एग्जिस्ट करते हैं, हम लोग एग्जिस्ट करते हैं टू बी कैटलिस्ट. आपको जो मालूम है इन हाइंडसाइट everything is very simple. उनको वो सारी चीजें मालूम नहीं. That is where you come in. That is where I come in. That is where all of you come in. You are aware of this precious gift that you are getting, from so many, HR professionals coming in, sharing their experience. Don't think that, everybody has that. In fact, very few people have this particular, fortune to know all of this. तो ये आपके ऊपर है to catalyze it. उनको बताना, और ये टीचर्स के ऊपर है, उनके जो टीचर्स हैं जो वहाँ पे हैं, टू स्टार्ट ऑफ उनका जो डे 1 इंडक्शन होता है उसमें ये चीज़ें बतानी,
इनको प्रायोरिटी देना,
इनको हाँ ये बेटा तुम पढ़ तो रहे हो लेकिन उसके साथ ये सारी चीज़ें आर इम्पॉर्टेंट, और ये क्लासेस होती रहेंगी, ये रीइंफोर्स होती रहेंगी. क्या इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस है, क्या ट्रांजैक्शनल एनालिसिस है, हाउ टू इम्प्रूव योर रिलेशनशिप विथ योर पीयर्स, सीनियर्स, एवरीवन, ये सारी चीजें जो है होती रहे, इम्प्रूव होती रहे, ताकि व्हेन एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कम्स फॉर कैंपस प्लेसमेंट और व्हेन यू गो फॉर एन इंटरव्यू एल्सवेयर, आप में ये चीज झलक के आए कि भैया मैं सीखने के लिए तैयार हूँ, मैं सबके साथ अच्छा बन के चल सकता हूँ, मैं आई एम अ टीम प्लेयर ऑल्सो. ये सारी चीजें आनी चाहिए ऊपर के, तभी तो जाके आप हायर हो सकते हैं.
नॉट ओनली बेस्ड ऑन स्किल्स,
नॉट जस्ट बेस्ड ऑन स्किल्स. मैंने कहा ना, स्किल्स तो मैं सिखा सकता हूँ, लेकिन ये चीजें जो है बहुत टाइम लेती हैं. दिस इज मेंटल कंडीशनिंग. दिस इज ऑल्सो द सॉफ्टवेयर दैट यू हैव ओवर हियर. ये सॉफ्टवेयर बनाने के लिए मुझे बहुत टाइम लगेगा. अगर और ये बंदा का अगर सॉफ्टवेयर पहले से ही बग लेके आया है तो वो तो उसको डीबगिंग भी मुझे करना है
और प्रॉब्लम करेगा इवन इंटरनल टीम्स के साथ.
ऑलवेज वही होगा. You'd be very interested in knowing this. Let me share this with your entire team. I went to do an emotional intelligence session in a steel plant over here, which had middle managers mainly. They were young people, right? Maybe in the 25 to 35 age group. But there were a couple of seniors also there. So after the emotional intelligence session ended and we discussed, high emotional intelligence versus low emotional intelligence, did a lot of exercises. This senior walked up to me after it all ended and said, "Can I ask you something personally?" I said, "Yes." "Sir, how do you deal with loneliness? You have no idea how many people are grappling with this new sickness, new pandemic that is underway." जैसे मैंने कहा ना, ये हमारी नौकरियां जो है, हमारी जॉब्स जो हैं, हमको सबसे अलग कर रहे हैं. एक तो वेल्थ के ऊपर अलग कर रहे हैं, एक तो स्टेटस के ऊपर अलग कर रहे हैं, और एक हमारी जॉब्स की डिमांड को लेके भी अलग कर. तो ये लोनलीनेस जो है बहुत लोगों को खाई जाती है. So, telling them about these things is going to be very, very important. You need not be lonely in a job. I am here, I don't know any one of you. I can't say that I feel lonely over here.
Obviously.
Right?
The interaction is important.
It's important. It's because I'm talking to you. I'm talking to your team, and they're interacting with me. So that's how it happens.
So, sir, with all these tools that HRs are using, there are students or there are candidates who are from creative fields prefer to use portfolios where they have advantages of using images, media, video clips, which we were talking, that video resume. They have this option of adding a 1 minute introduction about themselves, then bringing the proof of work, the projects that they have done. So if it is being shown to an HR, or if the HR gets to see that, okay, someone has not only just sent a resume, but a proof of work like a portfolio. So how beneficial can it be for the recruiters to have this, or should the students invest in making portfolios?
Well, to answer your second question first, yes, the students must start investing in building portfolios and building presentations and building video resumes. That's the way of the future. That's the first thing I want to say. The other thing, coming back to the first part, is if there should be a level playing field by which HR or any hiring manager judges a resume, and it has to be the same type for everyone. You should open it up. If you want to, if you are so attracted but to video resumes, or you must ask people to submit video resumes.
Mhm.
It cannot be that one person submits a video resume and others don't. So that level playing field, it's a credibility of the organization. So that level playing field should be well articulated in your job advertisement. Many organizations do not want a cover letter. Many organizations want it. They specify it.
Yeah.
Right. It should be accompanied by a cover letter stating your this thing. And then many say that please attach articles you have written, or awards that you have got.
Yeah.
Along with. So that's what is a level playing field. So that should always be given by an organization. But regardless of what is going on, you will respond according to what they want. But for every youngster growing up now, I would say, find creative ways to articulate who you are and what you want to do in life. That is extremely important. Be it in videos, be it in PPTs, be it through your collection of articles and all that. Now, there are some jobs that require a portfolio. For example, a graphic designer, right?
Yeah.
So they have this Behance where they post their designs and all that. Those links they provide. Then many a times when I used to work for MyGov, which is a Government of India organization, and we used to recruit graphic designers, content writers, we take them through an interview and then give them an exercise. Design a visual based around, say, how to end open defecation. We want to make this country open defecation free. How to end open defecation? आप एक visual तैयार करके मुझे 2 घंटे के अंदर दे, दे वुड डू
चैलेंज काइंड ऑफ थिंग,
चैलेंज करके दे देते हैं। अब उसमें जो है आप कहते हैं वो चीटिंग करते हैं, एआई का सब यूज करके, चैट जीपीटी, अगर वो तो घर में बैठे कर रहे हैं, किसी का अगर मदद लेते हैं तो हमको पता नहीं चलता है। Those are some of the things that we need to factor in. But we give them those challenges, they design it and they send it to us. More and more, your recruitment is going to be interactive. Organizations are going to insist on interactive recruitment, where the candidate would, rather than go through an interview, would go through an interaction
to understand what the thought process is and
what the organization wants, what they want to do, excepting for the very basic lowest level assignments, which is that of, like I said, in the IT sector, it is coding, right? Maybe data processing. Excepting for those, the the middle management to the higher management will now be filled up through
interaction.
It'll apply also to professional institutions as well, management schools and this thing. That is why that summer project is so important. That why do organizations give you pre-placement offers? ये अच्छा काम किया है, 2 महीना रहा हमारे पास, अच्छा काम किया, इसको लॉक किया जाए, यही तो कर लेते हैं। तो इसी से ही होता है, 2 महीने में is a great enough time to interact with that person.
Yes.
That is why you have these pre-placement offers. That is why pre-placement offers should now become the key recruitment tool in most organizations as well as management.
Definitely. And I think it is becoming more obvious in management rather than engineering, because after engineering, people are already looking for different opportunities, but in management, they are already trying to go into the organization and understand how that particular sector works, and वहाँ पे फिर they get offers.
इंजीनियरिंग में भी आपका तो प्रोजेक्ट्स है ना?
हाँ, प्रोजेक्ट्स
4
हैं।
साल का इंजीनियरिंग आप करते हैं, उसमें प्रोजेक्ट्स है, वो भी आप करने जाते हैं, कई जगह जिंदल स्टील में जाते हैं,
समर इंटर्नशिप प्रोग्राम,
टाटा स्टील में जाते हैं, जाके कर लेते हैं, आप समर इंटर्नशिप कर लेते हैं। उसको इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस में भी आई थिंक यू शुड बिल्ड इन दैट मॉडल
ऑफ अ पीपीओ,
जस्ट बिल्ड दैट इन। थोड़ी जरूरत पड़ती है वैसे। दैट इज गोइंग टू बी इम्पोर्टेंट, सो दैट ऑल दैट स्क्रीनिंग, throwing out great candidates because the resume doesn't look good, ये सब नहीं होगा। that it's unfair, but then nobody said life is very fair.
it should be balanced.
Yeah, it should be. Yes, but somehow it tends towards the unbit a little more.
So thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your valuable insights from the deep HR experience. We are fortunate enough to understand the HR world so closely with your presence. Going ahead, I will ask one advice from you to the students directly, students and candidates, whoever are looking for opportunities anywhere, यहाँ पे abroad या वो कहीं और पढ़ना चाहते हैं, and they get disappointed very easily. So what would be your advice directly to them?
No, I mean, my advice or my statement to them would be, the world is not meant for fragile people. Life and work are very hard and tough. And that is what your education system should build you to be tough. Fragile, you're like a glass, you'll break. So if you're disappointed, and it's okay to feel disappointed. If disappointment becomes a part of your personality, part of your psyche, and affects you mentally, then you're not going to go very far. Feel the disappointment, feel it for sure, and then get rid of it and go on, apply again. There is no mantra for success greater than try and try again till you succeed.
So, sir, we at Wooble are trying to build a community, a platform where students can communicate with the mentors who are into the domain. So if IT engineer wants to understand how the IT world works, they can reach out to people who are already into the industry and understand the IT world better. So similarly, we are trying to